exactly what it is. It's like, here's the foods with bad ingredients. Replace it with this. Have more energy, burn more fat, and cleanse your body.
Yeah, I was also going to say I like how you mentioned that when you take that stuff out, you're gonna naturally detoxify faster because one of the things that a lot of people talk about is a detox diet, not realizing that your body is built to get rid of toxins 24/7, 365, and if you keep fueling the front end, it'll never get the rest out of your body. But if you stop fueling the front end, it can just detoxify naturally without having to go on like the juice cleanse or the
Yeah,
master cleanse or any like some of these really extreme things that people usually turn to when it comes to detoxing.
exactly, exactly. So it's like naturally doing it without even because detoxes are naturally gross. You have to do some weird, boring, bland diet,
Yeah, there's
which
some
is
crazy
like,
ones.
yeah, you're like, what the hell? No, But most people don't do that. And when I was creating this, I said, how can I do this naturally? And I'm like, oh, it's already built in. Cool.
Yeah, that's very cool, man. It's so simple. So I have a question. Did you do any research into, everybody's aware of trans fats now. Things are having to get on the label trans fats, but
Yeah.
you'll flip a food around these days and you'll look on the label and you'll see hydrogenated oils, but there's no label that says trans fats in here. What is the difference and how the hell did they get away with this?
Yeah. So basically, when I was doing research, again, it goes back to like, it's really a political battle what they have to label. Like GMOs is huge. We're
Right.
not getting off topic, but there's a big push to at least label it. If it's been
Sure.
genetically modified, let us know. So, getting to trans fats and knowing how much is in there, that's the whole fight right now is people should know, okay, we know trans fats are bad. We know hydrogenated oils are bad. So how much are we putting in there? Because if it's a small amount, it's not going to harm you. And that's where the preservatives come in. Hydrogenated oils, trans fat. They want to be able to preserve the foods so you can have it on your shelf for 4 months. So basically, my research, that's where it came to is it can last longer, and you don't really know how much you're putting in your body, but they're both pretty bad for you.
Right. And so if they use below a certain amount, they're not required to
Yes,
put like trans fats on the label and whatnot.
yeah, I believe it's zero point 0.5. If it's under, they can not have it on the label if it's up to zero point 0.5 per serving. And a lot of times you'll see like 30 servings in a can. So you're like, what 30 servings? This thing is small, you know?
Oh, dude, they'll do anything to labels. I remember reading like this label that was like low calorie, low sugar, and I don't remember what it was. It was some sort of candy thing, and they basically just like taken the small thing and said 20 calories, 1 gram of sugar, but not realizing that there was like 20 servings and something you could eat in literally one sitting. I mean, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
exactly. So those are the kind of things that I like to discuss and talk about. So, you can at least make the option, but there's a chance that's why people are getting sick or having, weight issues because they look at it and say, oh, 100 calories per serving. This is good. It's tiny, but there's like 12 servings in there, bro. 1,000 calories.
That's
So,
funny. So I got to ask you, man. We're coming to the end of this call. What ended up happening with your mom once you kind of figured this stuff out? Did you clean up her diet and start doing a real foods approach and stuff?
absolutely. I put her on, I gave her a list of approved foods, which is the same thing I do in step 4. I
Right.
said, this is what you're eating. I identified the problem. I said, here are the toxic ingredients. Here's the research. Replace this with this, and you're good. And right now, she has not been back to the hospital. She's feeling good, amazing health. So, if it worked for her and there's someone out there that has similar issues, if you're feeling sluggish, like you lack energy or have any sort of migraines, pains, got to give it a shot. Definitely will help you.
That's cool, man. I like that because there's not a lot of people talking specifically about just the like get rid of the toxins for the health reasons. Everybody's driven by this, this super fast fat loss, or maybe on the other side of the coin, muscle building this and six pack that.
Triplets.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody wants like these super fast results, but the reality is like your mom was having success. She was losing weight. She was probably thinking that I'm losing weight. I'm probably getting healthier. At the same time, she's getting rushed to the hospital with chest pains and terrible migraines, not realizing it can just be something that's an additive into the foods that she's eating to lose weight. So I think it's a really cool thing what you've done, man. I really do.
Yeah, appreciate it. So, it's out there and I know it's going to benefit a lot of people. Absolutely.
So I just would love to maybe touch on like the stage 4 that you're talking about, or phase 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
What is the simple stuff like? I mean, I know it's really easy just to say eat real foods. That's what we're all saying over and over again. But like, what are the
Right.
simple steps and substitutions that you use in order to get people the results to get away from the foods that contain these toxins?
Yeah, absolutely. I say to be aware of, first off, what the labels are. Like we said earlier, all natural isn't necessarily all natural.
Right.
So even if, it's hard to go to certain like Trader Joe's, I get that the whole organic thing is hard to do. There's simple things you can do at your local grocery store, like gluten-free, trans fat-free. Companies are slowly starting to label them. So healthier swaps in the program, like I said, with Neotame, it's in a lot of like candy, sugars. Do cane sugar, do things that are natural.
Right.
And you can get these things online. They're really not as hard as people think.
Right.
It's just about knowing where to get them, which is what I tell people. And if I had to give one tip, I'd say that it all comes down to knowing simple food labels. Healthier foods, you want real foods, fruits, vegetables. We kind of know that stuff. Like nuts, berries. There's certain brands that I look at them at the store and I said, this is really bad, but right next to it, 2 ingredients are taken out, which is a world of difference. So I think it just comes to educating yourself a little bit, and you can make the choices at your local grocery store.
Dude, that's really powerful because I think, most people will think if they go to the grocery store and they're looking at like, frozen blueberries, they just assume they're going to get frozen blueberries, not knowing that one might actually have some of these ingredients you're talking about in there to preserve them or to add extra flavor to them, while the other might just be blueberries. And
Yes.
so from the perspective, I'm eating real food, but they don't even flip it around and make sure that what they're eating is actually just the food that they want to eat.
Exactly. And, that's what I do is my 4-step nutrition food label decoder. All it is a food label decoder. What is this and how can I replace it?
Yeah.
So, really takes less than a week for you to get started and really know what you're doing. Less than a week to protect yourself, your heart, your brain from all these diseases. So I think that's a great fix. I'm glad I've already been able to help so many people with it.
Awesome, man. Well, it's a great idea. Well, I got to ask one more question, Anthony. I ask everybody on the call. So you've been successful in your own athletic career, being an amateur bodybuilder. You're writing for big websites and magazines and so on and so forth now, and you've got this brand new book that's just absolutely is crushing it right now. What's your secret to success, my man?
I'd say the number one secret for me would be is the people you spend time with is who you become. And,
Yeah.
getting yourself in the proximity of people who have already succeeded it's key. It's a must. And, they rub off on you. You begin to think like they think. You begin to act like they act. And breaking it down even more basic is the law of association. Take the 5 people you hang out with right now. Look at your own life, the 5 people, and average them all out, and that's who you are. So if you hang out with 5 alcoholics, chances are you're a drunk. You hang out with 5 people who are fit in the gym, chances are you're ripped and care about your health. Being out with 5 business owners that are successful, you probably have a successful business. So, choose your friends and associates wisely. Even if people hate on you, you're going to have your friends and family that might not agree with you. You really have to keep that law of 5 intact. So that's what I would say.
That's really powerful, man. That's such a great tip, is just look at those people, because I know so many people who want to change, but they're, like you said, their inner circle, their small group of closest people doesn't allow them to do that, and it's so hard to step outside and be like, this is what's holding me back. And if all I do is just find some people that I want to be like, then that's who I will eventually become.
Yeah, you're a product of your environment.
Very cool, man. Well, Anthony, thank you so much for taking the time today to get on the call and share all that stuff with us, brother. I really appreciate it.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. Take care, Tyler. You have a good one, brother.